Saw X, also known as Saw 10, is the latest entry in the Saw series. It is the 10th entry, as a matter of fact. It is directed by Kevin Greutert, who is a series veteran. He did Saw 6 and 7, and has basically edited every single Saw movie from what I know, except for Spiral from the Book of Saw. It also features Tobin, Shawnee, Stephen Brand, and follows John Kramer as he travels to Mexico City hoping for a miraculous cure. He decides to undertake a risky experimental treatment, but in the end he only discovers the entire operation is a scam to defraud the most vulnerable. Armed with a newfound purpose, the infamous serial killer uses deranged and ingenious traps to turn the tables on the con artists. Now guys, before I give you my review of Saw X, if you have had the lucky chance to see it yet, I want to see what you all have to say down in the comment section below. Do you love this movie? Do you hate it? Or are you really looking forward to it? Because I know that this movie has been seen by very limited audience right now. The movie isn't out for a couple of days in the United States, and it comes out tomorrow, or by the time this review goes up, considering when the embargo lifts, will be out today in Australia and other territories. Also, before we get into everything, welcome to the new set. Kind of. It's only temporary for now. I still need to set up a few things, but I wanted to get a review up for Saw X either way, no matter what. I still haven't got all the lighting sorted out. I still haven't got everything in regards to the key lights. I still haven't got the background sorted out or anything like that, but I'm really liking this little couch setup right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like the camera being right here, me sitting on a couch, it's kind of cozy. It has a more moviegoer feeling about it that I actually really like. So I'm gonna touch up a few things. I'm gonna fiddle around with the audio and the lighting a little bit more. It's not perfect for now, don't get me wrong, I fully acknowledge that, but for this video and a couple videos following until I can get everything sorted out, I hope that this is okay. But either way, Saw 10. Saw 10, as you guys might know, is my most anticipated movie of the entire year of 2023. I have been a Saw fan for as long as I can remember, ever since I was a really young child. I was 6 years old when I watched the original for the first time. I wasn't a fan of Jigsaw. Jigsaw's probably my least favorite Saw movie. When that was released in 2017, I liked it a little bit more then, but as more time has passed over the last 6 years, I really don't like it. Spiral from the Book of Saw, I'll admit I had a little bit of a bias towards it when it came out, but I am still a defender of Spiral from the Book of Saw. I still really enjoy that movie, but I don't think for the long term it's the direction that the series needs to go as a whole. I think a concept like Spiral is more fitted towards a TV show than it is a movie continuation of an iconic franchise. And obviously going into Saw X, I was obviously very nervous for this reason though, considering that Jigsaw was a little bit of a fucking whoops, in my opinion, in regards to a lot of the writing, in regards to how everything was handled, and Spiral was a step in the right direction to give this series a reason to exist all these years later, but it is not what I would call perfection in that regard either. Saw X kind of had a lot riding on its shoulders in regards to how everything was going to be handled. They were bringing back Jigsaw. It was taking place between Saw 1 and 2, which is public information for everyone that wants to call spoilers for that crap. It's really not. But at the same time, Saw X is a true return to form for the series. Saw X is a damn good time and is probably the best Saw movie, not just since Saw 6, but it's probably in the top 3. I've got to give it a couple more rewatches before I can decide. I'm going to be seeing the movie again 2 more times tomorrow. But Saw X does everything right in regards to continuing this franchise and giving it a reason to exist all these years later, ever since the final chapter was released in 2010. One thing that I love right off the bat is that this movie subverts expectations from the beginning. I'm not going to say why, but the opening of the movie is extremely different. It also, from the marketing, isn't exactly the type of movie you would be expecting in regards to certain traps, how they play out. One trap in particular, people will either be pissed or you will appreciate the direction like I did, because what this one trap does in regards to what it doesn't do, or what it decides to do in regards to continue the story. Don't worry, it's very early on. You'll know the trap I'm talking about when it happens. It's easily in the first 20 minutes of the film. I won't say anything. But when this trap actually occurs, something different happens that we have not seen in the series ever. We've seen something like it, but we've never seen it handled in such a meticulous way that is used to elevate a character, their experience, and also how they are feeling in the moment, and what they have to lose, as opposed to the complete opposite of what another entry in the series did that felt like a massive bait and switch. But when Kevin Greutert, Oren Coles, and Mark Berg said that this is, and Josh Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger, as a matter of fact, when they said that this is the most personal Saw movie that we have gotten, where John and Amanda are the main characters, where everything is riding on the emotions and the performances of these two characters, these two actors, and how the writing unfolds in regards to how these characters are handled. And the emotions that they are going through. They were right, and it is handled very well. This is easily the most unique Saw film, but is the one that is a true return to form at the same time in regards to what made the original 7 so special. Again, I'm a defender of Spiral, but at the same time, I will admit it didn't feel like a Saw movie, and one of those elements is definitely the cinematography and how it was not shot on 35mm and is filmed with big, wide, fucking 16:9 aspect ratio rather than the no black bars. This movie has a very cinematic feel to it, but feels like old school Saw. At times it does have a little bit of an issue where the dolly shots don't work and give it a little bit of a cheap look, as well as the pan shots, but at the same time, I can't do anything but praise the direction of this movie from Kevin Greutert, where everything seems seamless and feels like it is filmed in the early 2000s. There are moments where this feels like a massive indie film. From A24, like the shot composition and how everything is lit and handled in that regard on a visual standpoint, and I really like that. I've also got to praise most of the performances. I've got to say, every Saw movie has its problems with its acting, and Saw X is no exception. There are a couple characters where I'm like, that either wasn't great or there's a bit of iffy ADR there. There's one moment in particular where the ADR is really fucking bad. But for the most part, every actor in this movie, whether it's Mateo, Cecilia, Valentina, Gabriella, whether it's, their actors, or if it's fucking Diego's actor, or Tobin or Shawnee Smith. Forgive me, I can't remember the other actors' names, do forgive me. They are all really good in the movie for the most part, though. There are a few cheesy moments from a handful of them, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, they do a good job, and I think the one that does the best job in this movie out of the trap victims is actually Cecilia, who is fucking incredible in this movie. She has a unique presence about her in regards to a trap victim that I don't think we have seen before in a Saw movie that I really, really liked. Not to mention, we do get to see a very different side of Tobin Bell's John Kramer and Amanda Young, played by Shawnee Smith. There is a very personal story under the surface here where the main plot of the movie, the main trap plot, I checked my watch, doesn't occur until almost an hour into the film. And that is something I personally really love. And even when it goes into the trap plot of the movie, what it does so well is it still keeps the core values and the emotions that we are feeling prior to the game actually starting. There is something so personal about this game where John is still giving everyone a fair chance. It doesn't feel like he is here for revenge. It doesn't feel like he is here for retribution. This isn't retribution, it's a reawakening, as it says in the trailer. But at the same time, what is so fascinating to me is that it does feel like it's retribution at times. It does feel personal, but he's still giving them all a chance. So it shows both sides of the coin with John Kramer in more occasions than one. There's one occasion towards the end of the movie where you sit there and you're like, are we getting fucking duped right now, or is there more to this than we think? And it's something we definitely have never seen in a Saw movie before. I am going to tell you that right now. We have never seen something that happens in the climax of this movie, and I think you're all gonna fucking love it, especially due to how it plays out. It actually had my heart racing, even though you can kind of guess how it's going to play out because sequels. But I really love the personal elements to this movie. We get to see John going to a coffee shop. We get to see John at cancer support groups. We get to see him living his day-to-day life, struggling with the fact he has cancer and has limited time to live, and then this glimmer of hope is provided to him. In the first roughly 40 to 50 minutes of this movie, it is nothing but narrative and emotionally driven story for John Kramer that I personally really fucking love. And it keeps those core emotional elements and beats throughout the rest of the story as well, which is something I have to praise on this writing standpoint. I didn't think I could do it. They fucking did it. Oh, and the traps too. I've got to, of course, talk about the game and the traps. What I love about the game itself this time around is that this is a medical con artist scheme, where John Kramer, among many other people, 34 to be exact, they actually gave you the exact number in the movie. Not really a spoiler, by the way. But over a period of time, they've conned over 34 people, including John Kramer, for the sake of earning millions upon millions of fucking dollars. And it is... Every single trap has a medical procedure element behind it. Whether it's Valentina's trap, whether it's Mateo's trap, whether it's all these different fucking things, Gabriella's trap, they all have medical procedure elements behind it, which is representation of what they did to John, except unlike what they did to John, he is giving them a chance to survive, to see how much are they willing to sacrifice, what are they willing to do, how far are they willing to go to make it out alive, live or die, make your choice, and it definitely has those elements. There is a certain element of this movie as well that I appreciated that they addressed in such a way because drugs. Okay, so when it comes to drug addiction, it's been pointed out to me in the comment section, and I've acknowledged it for many years, that drug addiction, especially in the Saw universe, is more complicated than John makes it out to be. And from the character of Amanda, I won't spoil why, but there is a certain element regarding drugs and a certain victim where there is a personal attachment, even though John says there can be no emotion. You must reserve all emotion. It can never be personal. And it shows that fine line with Amanda, and this is what I mean in regards to the great, unique characterization and story that is being told in this movie. It is the most unique Saw movie, bar none, but also the most true to formula regarding the ones that are political and the ones that are the best, like Saw 1, 2, and 6. This truly is up there as one of the best Saw movies, in my opinion, because it does have a damn good story. It is more than just a gratuitous horror movie. It has those emotional elements and those little beats and nods that make you want to keep watching, that make you want to invest in these characters, and makes you kind of sympathize with such a psychopath at times, because John is a hypocrite. He is a psychopath. But at the same time, you care for him in this movie due to how they treat the character, and they did the impossible of making you give a shit about such a despicable human being, who at the same time, in his own fucked up, twisted way, is kind of trying to do good. In reality, he's not, but at the same time, you get what I mean. The traps in this movie, as I said, incredible. Are they some of the best in the series? I wouldn't say all of them are, but some of them do stand out. Standouts from what we know from the trailer. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The standout fucking traps are the jiggly saws with Valentina and the pipe bombs with Diego. Those are the two traps that stood out the most for me personally. Yet they're not the most marketed either. The most marketed ones were the the brain surgery trap and the eyeball vacuum, and they didn't stand out the most for me. They did such a good job with all of these traps. And the reason why the Jiggly Saw trap and the Diego's pipe bomb trap stood out to me the most isn't just because they are inherently gory, which they fucking are, holy shit. Like, this is easily one of the most violent Saw movies and one of the meanest at the same time, while having those emotional elements to it that make it so special. At the same time, however, why they stood out is because of the psychological elements behind them that I really loved. And John does give everyone a fair chance in this in regards to their time limit as well. I will say that. He gives them all a very, very fucking fair chance. And he is quite lenient regarding the time he gives all of the victims this time around. It's got a unique ending as well that I didn't see coming. The twist of this movie I actually think is very, very well done. You can sort of see it coming due to the fact of sequels. Won't get into spoilers, of course. That's for a separate video. But at the same time, I'll say this much. The ending of this movie is actually a happy ending. Not something we normally see in a Saw movie. But at the same time, stick around for that end credit scene. That end credit scene is incredible. It made me very happy. The mid-credit scene made me very happy. As for issues with the movie, I will say that the trap plot does drag a little bit at times in regards to between actual traps occurring, and I know that's for the sake of the narrative and the emotional beats, and I know you can't have it both ways, of course. I appreciate the elements, but it does at times drag a little bit, and I feel like a few scenes in particular could have been trimmed down. A bit of the ADR work, a bit of the acting here and there, a bit of the camera work using 35mm could have been a little bit better at times, but for the most part, I can do nothing but praise it. Charlie Clouser's score is probably the best he's had in the entire series, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, his score in this movie is a fucking... it's perfection. Chef's kiss. I will be buying it. Like, it's so fucking good. I guess Stephen Brand? It's not his fault by any means, but his character in the movie... man, did he feel fucking pointless to a certain degree. Like, I mean, really fucking pointless. It was actually when he was introduced into the movie is kind of when the movie really started to fucking slow down, even though it leads to a great twist, even though it leads to a great unforeseen element of the movie that we have never seen in any of the 9 previous entries that I personally love and praise. Him as a character and his involvement doesn't feel like it does a whole lot. I'm thinking of scenarios and I'm like, if you removed him, you could kind of just... I don't know, it would be the same, I guess. I don't know, you could have thrown any other fucking character into his position, and it would have been fine. There's a certain character that's mentioned constantly that never appears once in the fucking movie that you could have had instead, and it would have made a little bit more sense. Stephen Brand's character really doesn't do anything for me personally in regards to any involvement. Again, not his fault. I just don't think the character's all that interesting, and I can think of no way that his involvement is very imperative without being replaceable by other fucking characters that could have made a little bit more sense for his role. Aside from one particular element, but I won't fucking get into that. Overall, though, Saw X is a true return to form. It's one of the best that the series has provided us. I'm going to give it a few rewatches before I can make any judgment on its placement. But overall, I'd actually say it's easily in my top 5, if not top 3. In the Saw series. I just want to give it another watch or two before I actually officially do a spoiler review, before I officially do my ranking, and before I do my How to Beat video as well. And I'm going to tell you this right now, trying to do the How to Beat video is going to be a fucking struggle. But overall, I really enjoyed Saw X. I hope you all do as well when it comes out, and I'm going to give Saw X a B+. So guys, what do you think of Saw X? I want to see what you all have to say down in the comment section below. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Or are you somewhere right in the middle? Please comment down below. Let me know. I'm really interested to see what you all have to say when you see it. Or are you excited to see it? What are you looking forward to? What are your theories prior to going to see it with what I have said? Trying to be as spoiler-free as possible because embargo, NDA, shit. But guys, thank you so much. As I said, look out for more videos coming very, very soon. Make sure to click the subscribe button and the bell to get notified when new videos are up every single week. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.